How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Ganji. Welcome to another episode of Tier Talk. Guys, I want to show you a great video that I found on YouTube, and it's from I Am El Ojo. I hope that's correct. I'd like to give her credit. Guys, this is a video that she really did an amazing job on. It's about David and Celeste Hernandez's leaked messages, plus how she was spotted at his tour right before. Now, let's just be mindful. They have proven at this point through TMZ that that wasn't her at the Maryland concert around August 23rd or the 24th. So we already know that. That was proven that that wasn't her. This video was done before the sources said that it wasn't her. So with that said, when she created this video, the hype was that this could have been Celeste, and now we have a timeline from that day of the concert to when she was later discovered in the frunk of this Tesla right here. And that would have been on September 8th, the day after her 15th birthday. Okay, so again, we're going to be talking briefly about Celeste Rivas and this guy here, David, D4vd. Guys, I've done a lot of videos on this already. So if you want the whole breakdown and everything about the case, feel free to check out my other videos. But today, I really want to talk more about these Discord messages. So what I want to do is I want to read you a couple of things about Twitch and Discord in case you're not familiar with it. So I want to let you guys know what that's about, give you some ideas of how does this relate to the David and Celeste case? And then I'm going to show you the video. When you watch the video, I may stop it a few times. We'll figure it out as it goes. But that video is pure grooming. When they start talking about the Discord messages, that's grooming in there. And there's a whole community that saw this happening. So let me just go first and read this out real quick. So Twitch and Discord, how they work together. So Twitch is a live stream platform where creators perform, play games, or chat in real time. So fans interact through a public chat. So anybody could see what's being put into the chat. Discord is a companion hub where creators build servers, private communities with text, voice, and video channels. And the integration, Twitch subscribers often get perks like exclusive Discord channels. But once you're inside, direct messages are free. Now, why does it matter? Because Twitch pulls fans in. Discord provides the back channel where private one-on-one contact happens. And that's with far less oversight. So Twitch, I guess, would be the more public platform. And then Discord's kind of like the companion platform. So, hey, you know me from Twitch? Come on Discord for my real true fans. And we can have a better dialogue, a more one-on-one with less oversight. And that's going to be interesting. I'm sure when they go through the digital forensics, what kind of chats him and Celeste had without others knowing, the direct messaging, because there has to have been a moment where they brought that dialogue from the public platform into those direct messaging. So let's go back to this case here, David and Celeste, when this all started. So reports suggest Celeste and David may have had first connected on Discord in 2022. And guys, when you watch this video, she's going to explain all this. It's very impressive video. A resurfaced message shows David asking, Celeste in here? It's authentic. It shows early direct recognition. And that places their digital connection years before her death, when she was 12 and he was 17, raising immediate grooming concerns. And you're going to see it's a message in 2022. And she does respond back. Something like Celeste is here, bark, and you'll see it. But that's very important. If that's going to ever get picked up by the investigators, that's going to show some level of initial contact. And then you can go by the year, how old each party was. So I want to go back to tell you how the messaging works on Discord. So to message someone, you don't need to pay. So if you share a server or if they accepted your friend request, you can direct message them directly. Paid Twitch subs sometimes unlock private Discord channels, but direct messaging themselves are always free once access is established. So once you are connected to that individual. This system makes Discord convenient but risky. It allows creators to bypass moderators and privately message fans, including minors. So there is a good chance here that the moderators aren't always aware of what those private messages are or who you're private messaging. So again, how does this connect to David and Celeste? David fan base grew out of Twitch streams and Discord communities. And you're going to see that in this video. Celeste, who reportedly engaged with him online, could have joined his server or streams, creating opportunities for direct contact. Screenshots and leaks point to possible Discord interactions between them, and a mod later claimed they didn't know Celeste's true age. If verified, Discord is the foundation of the grooming allegations, where online contact crossed into personal access. And that's extremely important because that's where you're going to see the direct messaging. So if you guys don't mind, I would like to read this again because this truly is central here for this part. Because again, we don't know what happened to her. We don't know if it's a homicide or whatnot. But right now, can we connect him to her? Can we see grooming? Is he a predator? That's what I think there may be enough evidence to prove. Minimal inappropriate contact, at least with a minor. But I want to read this again. It's important. So David's fan base grew out of Twitch streams and Discord communities. So that's what's going to build his big following. Celeste, who reportedly engaged with him online, could have joined his server or streams, creating opportunities for direct contact. Screenshots and leaks point to possible Discord interactions between them, and a mod later claimed they didn't know Celeste's true age. So the moderators know who she is. So if the moderators know who she is, whether they know the age or not, they know who she is. So that means that she frequents his community. If verified, Discord is the foundation of the grooming allegations, where online contact crossed into personal access. So I want to talk about deleted accounts and message trails. So when you watch this video, you're going to see that on some of the older snapshots of the Discord chat, you'll see her name, Celeste. And maybe that comes from before her name was deleted. But when her name got deleted, the messages would still show, but it would say deleted user. So now you have to find a way to connect that deleted user to Celeste. And I'm sure that could be done through digital forensics or whatever. But you're going to see as the video progresses that it's going to be under deleted user. They believe that the deleted user is Celeste. So again, it's really going back, looking at the messages. But even if they deleted it, the user's name may not show up, but it's going to have deleted user with the message, unless the moderators deleted the whole message entirely. So deleted accounts, messages remain in servers, but the username switches to deleted user, and then there's some hashtags. Deleted messages gone from the chat, but recoverable by Discord through forensic logs. So again, you put a little subpoena there, get the information you need from Discord, and they'll go ahead and give you what you need. So even if you think you deleted a message, even if you think you deleted a chat, it's there. It's all in that forensics log. So investigators can subpoena Discord for all message history, including deletions, metadata. So you got timestamps, the IP devices info. Then you got linked emails and phone numbers. And forensics makes Discord one of the strongest evidence sources in grooming cases. Now, guys, if during the communication she said her age and he acknowledged it, if there's an exchange of information, what's your number, what's your email, just something for a further connect, a meetup, which is extremely important, the chances to meet up, because that shows that you're willing to act on it. I mean, there's a big difference in accountability from willing to hook up with somebody and getting their number in exchange, but then actually meeting up with the individual. That's where danger truly exists. That's where it becomes an issue. And I did a show about runaways the other day, a brief touched on a brief short. But remember, with runaways, they're either running away from something or running towards something, or maybe a combination of both. And a good groomer, and you're going to see it in these videos here, in this video here, he's able to get her to run away from something to run to him. It's a groomer. And I said in the video the other day that I get, maybe runaways are considered low risk because they're leaving on their own accord. The danger may not be as immediate as opposed to someone who abducted someone where it's against their will and maybe the danger is more immediate. But grooming is long-term, and grooming is extremely dangerous. For someone to leave their family and go into the arms of a predator, that's a concern. And I know they're still questioning Celeste's home life, and they're saying, well, she ran away multiple times. There must have been a problem at home. And maybe not. I don't know if that's always 100%. Sometimes people get fascinated by just maybe being with a celebrity. Remember, he was a celebrity. He had influence. She related to him. So she could just be running away just to be with him. And there's also rumors about them receiving money. None of that's confirmed, at least at this point. If it does, shame on them. But right now, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're already going through too much as it is. So rules and regulations around predators online. I wanted to put this out because, so who's responsible here, right? So obviously the person saying the stuff that's enticing the dialogue, or that's trying to make the connection with the minor, they're definitely going to be held responsible. And Twitch, Discord, all social media platforms should have ways to manage that, to report that, etc. But what about the people in the community that see it happen? I mean, how responsible are they? Do they have to act? And there's wording here that's pretty unique. It's expected, but that doesn't mean they have to. So the only time that it becomes a liability for them if somehow they're encouraging it at some level or supporting it. And what I mean by supporting it is maybe bridging the connection. So platform responsibilities. Let's talk about Twitch and Discord in specific. So both ban sexual exploitation of minors. So you got grooming and explicit material involving children. Platforms must provide reporting tools and ban violators. Respond to credible reports by suspending accounts. Preserve account data if contacted by law enforcement. And they are protected by Section 230, meaning they aren't held liable for every post, but must cooperate once alerted. So that's actually a law that's a unique law, because once you start building a platform and you start building an audience, and the audience gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it's going to be hard for you to moderate every comment that comes in or whatever it is. So there has to be that level of protection, because if it wasn't that level of protection, then nobody would want to take the risk of opening up a channel and being able or having to control every comment that comes your way, especially if you got millions of followers. That's impossible. That's why maybe you'll even have moderators to try to control some of it, but it's still going to get past you. There's just a lot of messages coming through. But with that's definitely a big full-time job, but still, it's not a promise you can guarantee. But with that said, if you've been alerted, then you got to act. And there's proof that you would have been alerted. So once you've been alerted, that forces your attention on it. Now, if you don't do nothing, there's negligence. There's a bunch of things that can be connected to that. Recklessness. So what are the members' responsibilities? This I wanted to put out to you guys. I thought this was unique. Users are expected to report misconduct. So expected. That doesn't say they must. It says expected. It's a strong tentative word. Witnesses who ignore it usually aren't charged, but if they assist predators, so covering up, deleting logs, or sharing illegal content, they can be criminally liable because now they're taking part in it. Moderators who knowingly destroy evidence can face obstruction charges as well. So it definitely is a big responsibility to be a moderator. So the legal use of evidence. So screenshots are weak. Prosecutors need authenticated logs from Discord servers. So I may take a screenshot, give it over to law enforcement, but law enforcement is going to now, even though I got the screenshot, I need to get it from the source. So what are the steps? How do they get it? They'll do a preservation order to freeze data, subpoenas and warrants to obtain full logs, chain of custody, proving no tampering, because that's why you got to bring it in. So basically, I'm going to send a letter out. Hey, you got to preserve this. I want stuff from his server, his account from 2021 to 2025. Preserve it, freeze it, whatever. Don't delete it. There's an order out there to preserve it. Then obviously you start to request for the logs to be given to you. And then again, the chain of custody, the reason why is because when you take it to court, you have to prove, you want to prove the limited amount of hands on it. So get it right from the server to the prosecutor, or getting right to the server to the investigative division is better, as opposed to coming from people you don't know who could have doctored it up. It would never make it in court. So you got to get it from the original source, and they have to kind of vouch that that's what they gave you. And the authentication, tying the account to the defendant with IP and device records. And that's going to be obviously with the assistance of the streaming platform. So potential crimes. So I want to talk about state versus federal. So state level, so California, where the LAPD is investigating. So you got lewd acts with child under 14. So there's a penal code there. 288A applies if only sexual contact occurred before Celeste turned 14. And again, we don't know what's in these messages. Then you got lewd act with a child 14 to 15 by an adult 10 plus years older. Yeah, he may not reach in that one because he was only about 5 years older. So it applies if she was 14 and he was 19 to 20. So that doesn't apply there. Unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor, statutory rape, he would meet that need. Child endangerment, if he knowingly exposed her to danger. I talked about this, by the way, because we don't know what goes on in that house. So if something happened to her in that house and she was a minor, that's a problem for him. And I had a theory. I did it yesterday. One of the motives, I have a feeling maybe there was a chance that maybe she overdosed or something. I could be wrong. And then he panicked. And I explained that more in the motive episode. If you guys get a chance, watch it. Then you got the homicide statutes if evidence shows intentional killing, and then dismemberment, mutilation of remains. So federal crimes, if interstate contact or digital grooming is proven, because remember, you're on a platform that reaches out internationally. So that's definitely in the hands of federal now. So persuading, enticing, or coercing a minor to engage in sexual activity using interstate communication, that applies to Discord, Twitch messages, and that, of course, crosses state lines. Remember, he lived in Texas, LA, wherever they were. Sexual exploitation of a minor, so producing or soliciting sexual content from a minor. So again, we got to look at what those direct messages are. I don't know if you see much of that in the public messages, but the direct messages you may see a little bit more because they feel there's less oversight. Then you got the possession or distribution or receipt of child sexual abuse material. Again, we don't know what was exchanged between them. Transferring obscene material to minors, and obstruction of justice if anyone knowingly deletes or alters records during the investigation. Why federal jurisdiction could apply? Discord and Twitch are interstate platforms. If messages or grooming cross state lines, it becomes a federal case. And we covered grooming in yesterday's show. It's pretty interesting if you guys get a chance to see it. And then federal charges typically carry longer mandatory minimums and no statute of limitation for child exploitation crimes. Why this matters for the for David and the Celeste case: if this court shows grooming, it could trigger both state and federal charges, from unlawful sexual contact to online enticement. Deleted accounts won't protect anyone. Logs can be subpoenaed, authenticated, and introduced in court. Witnesses or moderators who saw warning signs but failed to act won't normally be prosecuted, but anyone actively covering up or enabling predation could face charges. And legally, the digital evidence is central. It ties together timelines, intent, and relationship dynamics, making it one of the strongest possible cases if prosecutors move forward. Okay, so I gave you a lot here, and now we can go into the video. I think that's a good backdrop here now to watch the video I'm going to show you here. And again, I just want to tell you where the video is coming from, because I got to give her a shout out, kind of like fair use here. But I am Eloho, E-L-O-H-O. She got about 343,000 subscribers. I thought this video was extremely well done. She broke down the Discord messages. It's interesting. It's creepy because it's grooming. It's grooming. This is grooming in real time. And then there's a community here that they see it. Some act, some don't. But it's interesting. It's a 12-minute video. So I would like to share with you. So I'm going to mute my side real quick.
In the back of my mind, I killed you. And I played it for my mom. And whenever my mom hates something, I know it's cool. Like, I played it for her in the car, and she was like, David, this song is too violent. You're talking about killing people in your music? No, not my son. And I was like, wait, I might be onto something here. In the back of my mind, I killed you. Ooh, the blood of Jesus. Y'all, this David and Celeste Hernandez situation is like an entire true crime episode unfolding right before our eyes. The romantic homicide rabbit hole runs super deep, so trigger warning, everything we're discussing in this video is disturbing. I'm going to be giving you guys a timeline of events and some disturbing Discord messages that were recently leaked. No arrests have been made still up until this point, and I'm really not sure why, because all the evidence is right in our faces. So back in 2024, Celeste Rivas Hernandez reported her missing at the age of 13. The family noted in the reports that she was a runaway and that this was actually not the first time she ran away, but it's been the longest time since she's run away that they haven't seen her and she hasn't returned. On September 8th of 2025, police received a message of a foul odor and a dismembered body, later identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, found decomposing in the truck of alternative rock artist David. David Anthony Burke blew up on TikTok when his emotional pop song Romantic Homicide went viral. He later dropped his debut album Withered earlier this year and was literally in the middle of touring the US and Europe when this whole story broke and Celeste was found dismembered in the trunk of his car. Now, of course, it's a huge red flag, right, that a young lady was found in the trunk of your car. However, he continued his tour seemingly unbothered. Very odd behavior, and in the words of Lovely T, where there's smoke, there's fire. If his lack of empathy wasn't enough, y'all, he started selling bloody merch and had a casket prop for photos at his concerts. And this was when I realized, okay, he's trolling us. Like, this guy is making, like, he is enjoying this. So many unanswered questions, one of them being, how did they meet? How did they know each other? Were they in a relationship? Her family allegedly said that she was dating someone named David. So they just accepted the fact that their young daughter was dating a grown man. Who else knew about this? Who condoned this? They all need to go to jail. Days turn into weeks, and there is still no arrest on this case. Investigators have been trying to piece together what exactly happened. They executed a search warrant at the Hollywood Hills home where David had been staying. They took computers, evidence, the whole nine. And as of the most latest reports, no cause of death have been publicly released. The medical examiner's reports show the cause is deferred because of the severe decomposition and the lack of clear information regarding how she died, when she died, or what preceded her death. Now, this is all alleged, but y'all know how the Internet FBI division do, okay? So allegedly, David met Celeste on Fortnite when she was 11. He convinced her to join his Discord, and they started dating when she was 12 and he was 17. So there's a 5-year age gap here. Someone says, yo, I'm watching the live right now, but I just want to say this because me and my friend are trying to recall everything. We were all in the Fortnite team called Chronic, which is where I met him. He met her in like 2021 through Fortnite, I'm pretty sure. And then he made her get Discord. Everyone in the team knew about her, and he would joke about it and brush it off every time it got mentioned. That's all I personally know, but my friend Pistol knows more because they talked way more. She would literally say he raped her, but then follow it up with a joke, so I don't know if she was being for real or not. He was also just a weirdo, to be honest. He used to send gore in GCS, but I'm not surprised considering and that's where the message ends. Now, the reason why I believe whoever is saying this is because the dates match up and so does his messages on Discord. So in 2023, he starts revealing to his Discord members that he enjoys gore. He said, I used to be addicted to watching gore vids. I love gore. I use it to desensitize myself. He says, I watch gore to disconnect the part of my brain that feels empathy to the wrong things. Someone said, not gonna lie, some gore videos are funny. And he said, I saw a cartel execution on Reddit when I was 14. But for me, the most disturbing part is he says he watches it so that he can literally desensitize the empathy part of his brain, the part of his brain that makes him feel bad when witnessing something that is wrong. So we already have a man who is dating someone who's much younger than him, right? And so that's wrong. And now he's also indulging in, he's also addicted to visual effects of blood, guts, dismemberments, really explicit, disturbing videos and pictures showing real violence, death. Why do you want to desensitize that part of your brain? And so from the ages of 12 to 14, every now and then, Celeste would pop up on his Discord stream, on his Instagram lives. She would just pop up, clearly hiding in plain sight, wearing oversized hoodies, big glasses, or just literally covering her face with her hand and objects. And this would probably be because she was a runaway. Her parents were looking for her. She's underage. I mean, you name it. Because I don't know anyone who's in a relationship and acting like a bandit, like just hiding. Every time we see her, she's hiding. Now, someone in this Discord says, "Hey, who's the girl?" And David responds, "You're a fed." Now, why would me wanting to know who that girl hiding and creeping in the background is, why would your response be you're a fed? Now, these messages were also leaked from 2022, and Celeste says to David, my parents are so effing annoying, they won't let me go see you perform with a broken heart. He says, don't worry, I'll fix it. And so in 2022, she was 12 years old. So obviously, he is grooming her. She's complaining about her parents. He's grooming her. He's presenting himself as her knight in shining armor. Don't worry, I'll fix it. Don't worry, I'll save you. Don't worry, I'll get you away from these people. Don't worry, I am here to help to make it all better. Sir, and really and truly, this is a reminder to hide your kids and hide your wives, because no, he's not the only one. He's not the only one. And I believe there were so many other men in that Discord that knew that was a little girl. They knew she wasn't 18 and older. They knew she was a little girl, and they enjoyed seeing her. They played into the plot. Now, last year, someone in the Discord sounded the alarm, but he was pretty much ignored. He wrote, I want to tell everyone about how David is a pedo. Did y'all know David likes kids? Someone responded, you aren't given any proof, so that's all I'm going to think. He posts a missing flyer and pictures of Celeste and says, this is the girl. She came back home in March, then went missing again in April. Y'all, then a song named Celeste, or a song about a girl named Celeste, was leaked online, and the song was recorded in December of 2023, which means that he was 18 years old writing love songs to a 13-year-old little girl. Nothing about this relationship and clearly obsession with Celeste was appropriate. And child, the internet was dragging his Discord for filth. And this is the statement that they recently came out with. To the members of this server, we, the Discord and Twitch staff team, want to clarify what we knew and didn't know regarding Celeste. We were not aware of her true age or that she was a missing person. We also did not have any contact with her outside of what was public. From what was shared in David's Twitch streams and from her role in the server, we understood her to be around 18 to 19. She appeared in 2 streams, but otherwise was not active in the server, and we did not have ongoing communication with her. Most of us are not located in California, so we're not aware of any missing persons reports connected to her. Additionally, the staff team has had minimal contact with David or his management. The mention of her full name within the server was not seen in real time due to how fast the chat moves when David pings everyone. As a result of this situation, the majority of the staff team has left the server, and we no longer associate with David. We do not support his actions in any capacity. Our priority has always been the well being of members in this community. We are deeply saddened by the situation and extend our prayers to Celeste's family. May she rest in peace and may her family receive justice. To support her family directly, here is the link to their official GoFundMe. Of course, Celeste's profile is deleted at this point, but there was a message that came up where someone says, David, are you happily married or single? And he says, me and deleted user got a kid on the way. Child, it seemed like this man got bolder and bolder as the years went on. Mind you, she's still under 18. She's still a little girl. And so, how do you go from we got a baby on the way to she's dismembered in the trunk of your car? We need answers, sir. This is all allegedly and honestly really, really sick if it happens to be true. We are all patiently waiting for the autopsy. I will keep you guys updated on any current news or events surrounding this situation. Rest in peace to Celeste. She was so young and literally had her whole life ahead of her. Y'all know I'm totally against victim blaming, but I really would love to know more details on her life at home, her family life. Why was she constantly running away from home? Why did she have access to the internet if she was a runaway and someone who was meeting men offline? Just so many questions. It's really unfortunate. She didn't deserve that, regardless to what. I do pray that her soul rests in peace and that justice is served. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Be sure to like and subscribe.
So, real quick, that's eerie, and I think it was a great video done by her. If you guys get a chance, please check out the channel. There's two things I want to explore real quick before we bring this video to an end. I don't want to overlook that one statement about disconnecting himself from feelings, and that's why he likes gore. David said something like he watches gore because it disconnects him from feeling empathy for the wrong things or etc. That's a very disturbing feeling, if you will, because it's like gore, which can be shocking, is meant to distract you from feeling empathetic. So it's like a numbing strategy. Gore is so extreme that it shocks or overwhelms normal emotional reaction. So by focusing on that, he might blunt or distract himself from emotions tied to guilt, shame, or anxiety, displacement. So instead of processing the wrong things, whatever personal urges, obsessions, that's key, and we discussed that yesterday, or actions he's struggling with, he replaces that feeling with revulsion or adrenaline from gore. And then you have the desensitization. So over time, watching gore can reduce sensitivity to violence, and this could be an intentional way to avoid feeling too much when confronted with disturbing or immoral impulses. I did a show not too long ago about guilt and why a lot of our individuals that suffer from psychopathy or psychopaths don't feel guilt is because they feel it's a controlling emotion. Bundy actually thought it was a very controlling emotion. I learned that as I'm studying. Basically, every time I put a show together, I learned something new. And basically, true guilt for what you've done allows for remorse. If you don't feel guilt, you won't feel remorse, because remorse is empathy for others. But guilt is something that Bundy saw as control. So for him to say, trying to get it's kind of paraphrased, but watches gore because it disconnects him from the empathy or whatever is from feeling for the wrong things, it makes you show that he wants total control, and that even surrendering to love, which I'm not condoning this relationship, but just hear me out. Even surrendering to love is something I'm not willing to give that control up. So it's actually, when you really start to read into this, it's extremely disturbing. So for this case here, If wrong things refer to illegal or morally forbidden urges, then Gore becomes a tool to sidestep or suppress those urges instead of dealing with them. It shows awareness. He knows there are wrong things he feels drawn to, and he's trying to disconnect from them. I don't see that. That awareness can be read in two ways. Mitigating, he recognizes his impulses are wrong and is trying not to act on them. Maybe. Let me rephrase that. Maybe. But with that said, and based in the context we're in now, could be aggravating. He's admitting to dangerous thoughts and choosing unhealthy, violent coping mechanisms. I believe the latter. Let me read this again because it's important. So if wrong things refer to illegal or morally forbidding urges, then Gore becomes a tool to sidestep or suppress those urges instead of dealing with them. But it also shows awareness. He knows there are wrong things he feels drawn to, and he's trying to disconnect from them. That awareness can be read in two ways. One, the mitigating factor is he recognizes his impulses are wrong and is trying not to act on them. So, I mean, this guy could be a psychopath. He's becoming a psychopath. And maybe those feelings and what we see in the videos, those feelings of isolation, all that stuff, he's stepping into who he is. And she may have been there when he discovered that. But that's another motive we mentioned. And then you have the aggravating factor. He's admitting to dangerous thoughts and choosing unhealthy, violent coping mechanisms. For investigative angle, statements like this can be seen as psychological evidence showing state of mind, possible predispositions, or attempts to rationalize disturbing behavior. In court, this could be argued by prosecutors as consciousness of guilt or deviance. He knew he had urges and sought to numb himself instead of stopping them. And defense could argue it's just a form of dark coping, not proof of action. So one of the takeaways is it's a window into someone struggling with impulses and morality. Using Gore to disconnect implies he's both disturbed by his feelings and simultaneously unwilling or unable to process them in a healthier way. And that would include possibly the feeling of love, a forbidden love. That duality, repulsion and attraction, is what makes it so chilling. Repulsion and attraction. Now, I wanted to take his lyrics from Celeste real quick. So I'm going to read the lyrics to you. And I have a couple of areas that I find interesting. Because one of the motives I mentioned yesterday could be this obsession. I even think the could be an obsession, right? Or some level of control. Because we have a forbidden relationship. Can't tell no one, technically. And then there you go with the shush on your finger. And it symbolizes control. Same exact area, same exact meaning. But so for Celeste, it's like, baby, I love you. So this is what it's like to not need weed to get me high. I love it when you hold me, when you cry, just because. Then be my Valentine. I want to make you feel suicidal. These are the kind of thoughts that cross. Just because. That's a unique lyric. I want to make you feel suicidal. These are the kind of thoughts that cross. Just because. I love you so much. Darling, I would love to ease your mind, but you only open up when you get high. One of my other motives was maybe they were experimenting with some type of drugs or whatnot, and she overdosed, and that's a problem, right? That's going to be a problem because she's a minor, and he panicked, and maybe he did what he did because he panicked to cover it up. Who knows? Pressure of getting to another concert he had to do. Who knows? But I thought that would be a motive. And right here it says, but you only open when you get high. So if he's talking about Celeste, which the song is named Celeste, but if he's talking about specifically about this Celeste, it does showcase that maybe she's into smoking up a little bit. And God knows what people smoke nowadays. People don't just smoke weed. K2. They smoke some dangerous stuff. Stuff that would kill you in a heartbeat. If I had the money, I would buy us time just to get by, just to stay high. Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. And we talked about obsessed in the second area of motives. Oh, Celeste, afraid you'll only love me when undressed. But you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed. But I digress because, and then goes to the bridge. I love you. And this was written, I believe, in 2023. So maybe this could have even been at a breakup when he said, I miss you so much. I mean, who knows? But I got some stuff here with those lyrics too. So I got escapism through substances. I wanted to put that in there because I think one of the motives could have been an overdose or whatnot. And I mentioned that in yesterday's video. The second verse suggests you only open up when you get high. If about Celeste, it frames her as someone who used drugs or intoxication as a coping mechanism, possibly to escape pain or trauma. Then you got the possessive attachment. Lines like the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. That's a sign of ownership. Some people say it's a love. No, it could be ownership too. My name's tattooed on her chest. That could be a sign of ownership. And I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. It's a point to fixation and control. This isn't just love. It's obsessive attachment bordering on unhealthy dependence. Then you got romanticizing despair. The chorus, I want to make you feel suicidal, is particularly alarming. It links love with extreme self-destruction. So in my mind, and we kind of touched on it when I said earlier about that level of control, love is an emotion. It's a controlling emotion. It's an emotion that we're vulnerable to. But maybe I don't want to give that up. And maybe when I'm falling in love, but for maybe a moment, maybe I don't feel it back. Maybe there's a hint that I'm losing. I may start to feel I'm losing my sense of control. One of the motives I put in yesterday's was maybe there was a breakup. Maybe there was something there that he felt he lost control of. And the only way he can get that control back is by committing to the ultimate act. And again, in the discord, the gore, disconnecting from empathy, disconnecting from guilt, disconnecting from remorse. You know, it all leads to maybe that obsession / control. So again, particularly alarming, it links love with extreme self-destruction, presenting suffering and obsession as proud of devotion. Oh, sorry, hold on. Suffering and obsession as proof of devotion. That's not healthy intimacy. It's dangerous romanticization of harm. And conditional love and objectification. Afraid you'll only love me when undressed suggests fear that the bond is purely physical or superficial. It reflects insecurity and perhaps an awareness that the relationship is transactional or shallow. And depression and longing. Missing you so much makes me depressed, shows dependency, equating her presence or absence with his emotional stability. So the overall meaning and context, if tied to Celeste, these lyrics don't read as a simple love song. They show a relationship linked to substance use and altered states, a strong undertone of obsession and control rather than mutual care, a glamorization of pain, suicide, and depression as markers of love, and deep insecurity about being loved genuinely rather than physically. I'm very curious to see what conversations they had when nobody was there. I will guarantee you there'll be a lot of questions about death, the finality of it all. And why it matters in this case, if it's about her, it could point to grooming dynamics, mixing validation, obsession, and control with a young person who might already have been vulnerable. It also sets a tone of toxic dependence where love is tied to destruction. And from a forensic psychology view, lyrics like this can be used to argue state of mind, showing how the writer conceptualized relationships not as balanced, but as obsessive, controlling, and darkly romanticized. You know, when you take someone's life, that is a complete ownership of that individual. There is no greater ownership. So imagine kind of in a twisted way, let me kill you for that ownership. Show your love to me by letting me kill you. I mean, am I looking at that the wrong way? Could that be what's presented in those lyrics about love being suicidal? But suicidal, you know, that may not mean that you're committing the act yourself. It means you're willing to make the sacrifice. The fact that you're willing to make the sacrifice. I just think there's a lot of twisted things here, but that video was just a great perspective. Well done on that video, but I'd love your thoughts. There's a lot here, but again, you never know what your kids are really listening to. And it's true. You really, truly never know. There's just so many platforms, so many ways that people could get these messages out there. And not only that, build support. So even if you take them away from the individual who's saying it, there'll be people all around your child who will support it because their reach is just so far much greater than the parents. That's the scary part. For people that shouldn't have the right to have that microphone in their hand yelling these messages out, what is a parent to do when their reach is far greater than the parents, especially when eventually a parent loses influence. It's about the peers, but this person, they know they can't get the parents, so they go after the peers. They triangulate, and then they get the victims. And then the parents are left wondering, did I do anything wrong? Did I do everything wrong? And it's like, no, you didn't even have the resources to get your message out there. Your message just would never resonate because the problem is even if you tried every day, his voice is louder, and with support, his voice is more persistent. It's crazy. As always, guys, love you. Stay safe.